Search continues for the grizzly bear involved in the attack near Bella Coola last week. On Thursday last week, a group of Newhawk Nation students and teachers from Exulta School were attacked. 11 people were hurt, and the community is still processing what happened. In the days since, much of the focus has been on how to prevent these kinds of incidents. The BC Wildlife Federation has called for the province to lift its ban on grizzly bear hunting. This attack took place on Newhawk territory. It's a nation that has lived alongside these bears since time immemorial. And to talk about how their teachings guide their relationship with grizzly bears, we're joined now by Jason Moody. He's the nation's Fisheries and Wildlife Planning Coordinator. And his daughter was actually one of his children on the trail that day when the attack happened. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Jason, first off, how is your daughter doing?
She's doing surprisingly well considering.
Okay, that's good to hear. And what about the community overall?
Oh, this incident caused some shock due to unprecedented details, that's for sure. Quite a bit of confusion and questions that may not ever be answered. A lot of people are wondering, where do we go from here? What's next? But obviously, we have a lot of work ahead of us.
What do you make of what the conversation has been like since this attack happened?
What has the conversation been like?
Yes, around what it is like to live alongside grizzly bears, and what impact grizzly bears are having on nearby residents.
Well, as Newhawk, we know the natural world is the man's house, basically, and they're the dominant species. Our ancestors adapted to them, lived alongside the Nan for thousands of years, and both communities flourished. Our relationship is one of respect, and they're revered and honored.
Can you tell us more about that, about what that relationship looks like and what it means for how members of the Newhawk Nation behave and live alongside grizzlies?
Yeah, it's a deep relationship, that's for sure. If you look at what we do in our potlatches, we wear blankets. The bear, the eagle, the orca, the raven, they're big crests, and they connect us to our ancestors through creation stories and the land today. So it's a deep history with them.
And what do you say to your daughter? How do you have this conversation then, keeping in mind that deep respect?
Yeah, they have a good school program at Exulta, and they teach a lot of the history, the animals. They do the songs, the dances, and actually the children there will actually hold potlatches for the community. So it's all integrated into their understanding of the natural environment, the school setting, and the community.
And Jason, what have you observed around bear behavior and how that's changed in light of climate change and things like salmon declines and berry shortages around Bella Coola?
Yeah, the climate change and low salmon abundance has left us and the animals without, the water that used to be here, the glaciers that really set the stage for the climate in the local area, and the salmon we rely on. The bears have been stressed when food is not available. They'll look for anything to survive. So things like garbage, oil, fertilizers, composts, anything not to starve. And actually in 2024, there are virtually no conflicts. We had over 1 million pink salmon in the area, but in 2025, that dropped by at least 90%. And our bear safety project was established to respond to these fluctuations.
Is that right?
It focuses on salmon processing sites, smokehouses, and uses electric fencing, and it's been very successful.
Wow. In light of the last week's attack, the BC Wildlife Federation says that without hunting pressure, conflicts with grizzlies will increase. In addressing that, what role do you see hunting playing?
Yeah, we've had experience with that before. We've seen a lot of damage in the environment. Um, and to keep in mind, the Nukhalk Nation is a sovereign nation. Uh, we have jurisdiction on the land, waters, plants, animals, and have not surrendered any of this through treaty or war. The conversations the BCWF is having is not recognized here in these lands. We study our bears through our stewardship office, and no one else really knows the population level of our bears here. One thing I got to add is it's obvious that bears do congregate here in this valley in Bella Coola. So to people who are not involved in the science would think there are more bears, when in fact, throughout our territory, there are much fewer. We do our own research with top science partners because we don't have any faith in other research and no confidence in outside parties and governments managing our wildlife populations.
You mentioned at the start that there will be, conversations and attempts to seek answers. You don't know if you'll ever have them. What are the conversations you would like to have, the discussions, and what answers are you looking for in the coming days?
Well, what we had done in the past, our stewardship office had started a bear plan several years ago. We intend to continue this plan for the Nukhalk community in the Bella Coola Valley as a whole. Local and provincial governments offices will need to support this plan for everyone's best interests. We'll draw from other plans established in other areas, and we'll tailor things specifically for wildlife corridor here in the Bella Coola Valley. Our science partners are ready to provide support. This will be a Nukhalk-led, Nukhalk-NAN coexistence plan that will adapt to changing climate and lower salmon abundance for the safety of everyone here in Nukhalk ancestral territory.
Jason, it's very good to speak with you, and I'm glad to hear that your daughter is doing relatively well after all of this. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for your concern.
Jason Moody is from the Nukhalk Nation. His daughter was one of the students on the trail during last week's grizzly attack near Bella Coola.
Hey everybody, the Omnis here. So, there you have it. The bear has dominion over First Nations. Very interesting stuff. Seemed they had a pre-planned bear plan. Wildlife corridors. Brings it back to Agenda 21, where I didn't really show much in this search I did, but, or should I say map? Anyways, yeah. You can see the map here. It's hard to read. It's kind of, oh, there we go. Got your core reserves and corridors. Little to no human use. That's all the red stuff here. This is the United States. They don't have a Canada one, but you imagine it's similar. You get your buffer zones, there's all the yellow stuff. Normal use zones of cooperation. Little tiny blue spots. Oh, there's some clusters here. A little bit over here. And your orange border 21 / LA La Paz sidebar agreement of NAFTA. 121 mile wide international zone of cooperation. That's right down there. Pink Indian reservations. You got some clusters of pink, so it's like not even that many Indian reservations for the United States, that is. And then your military, which is the gray. But I digress. This is not about Agenda 21. Well, everything's about Agenda 21, but this specifically is the bear stuff. I think we'll do the barely mentions. Lost in space. Where is Bradfield the bear? School teddy bear who was sent high into Earth's upper atmosphere, gone missing. What do I got here? Oh, yes.
In Gatlinburg, Tennessee, a video showing what not to do when you encounter a bear. This moment captured by Chris Underwood, who says while he often sees bears in town, he'd never seen something like this. First, a woman trying to pet the bear, and then another woman on her hands and knees appearing to feed it.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, because they're wild animals. They're not like your neighborhood pet or dog.
The moment has gone viral as yet another recent example of people behaving recklessly around wild animals. Like this incident Hawaiian officials are looking into, a man seen handling a sea turtle for what appears to be a photo op.
Wow.
And in Yellowstone, you can see a person here appearing to goad a pack of wolves.
People are approaching animals, feeding animals. They don't realize this is not Disney. This is not going through the Jungle Cruise.
Wildlife expert Ron McGill says feeding animals not meant to interact with humans can have dangerous consequences. In a neighborhood outside San Francisco, residents say multiple people were recently viciously attacked by a squirrel that experts say may have become aggressive because it was being fed by humans.
We have to learn to coexist with these animals. We cannot try to make them our pets. They will never be our pets. You might be able to take an animal out of the wild. You can never take the wild out of the animal.
A reminder this Thanksgiving to keep your turkey dinner to yourself. Liz Kreutz, NBC News.
Oh, it's 1 minute and 33 seconds long. Of course, yes. This video, all this could be fake at this point with the AI. I could easily generate that same video right there if I want. Well, maybe not exactly, but a video very similar to that. But I digress. They want to, it's all hyperbole. At this point where we have this bear scare stuff, and then in the news, all these dumb people approaching animals and wildlife stuff. It's just, we got to do something to separate the animals from the people. I don't know, maybe some wildlife corridors and reservations and all that stuff. The Daily. Bear back on prowl in WHL. Highlander and GR again. So, oh my god. Things are popping up. When it comes to long-term sports injuries, players actually have two return dates. There's the date they resume playing, and then there's the second date when they begin playing consistently the way they did before they were hurt. Detroit Red Wings prospect Carter Bear is now past the second date with 6 goals and 9 points in his past 3 games. Bear showing the production that prompted the Red Wings to draft him. As expected, blah, 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 blah. Now, in this little tweet here, first of the night, really dominant game along the boards tonight. There's that word dominant again. Dominion, dominant. I don't know, there's kind of a theme going around here. Voices. My daughter and I bear the cost of the inadequate COVID response. No, I know it's a different meaning of bear, but still, bear reference. 999, which service do you require? 999, that's your 666. Ambulance, I need help. I think my husband's having a panic attack. 111 also suspects he may have COVID-19, but he's not got a cough. He's never had a cough. Anyways, it just goes on. But yeah, another bear reference. Let's see. We tested 3 of the most popular bear mattresses. Here is our honest thoughts. I thought you guys enjoyed another bear mattress reference, but just for fun there. 880 Ched wants to send you to experience Bear Grease Shack Up for the Winter. Bear Grease Shack Up for the Winter takes the beloved 1978 musical on an indigenous joyride. Now with a festive twist, the jaw-dropping, toe-tapping spectacle combines humor, fashion, and music with a burst of cultural flair that makes the classic story feel brand new. The holiday special adds lively Christmas surprises to the humor, electrifying dance numbers, and unforgettable tunes you know and love, along with indigenous twists that celebrate culture and community. From res makeovers to holiday classics, this one-of-a-kind adventure will have you laughing, grooving, and singing along. It's a joyful celebration on a season you won't want to miss. Yeah, some indigenous grease, bear grease. Of course, all timed very well here. Polar Bear Marathon lives up to its name for organizers from Steinbeck. It's like, you talking to me? Yeah, I'm talking to you, Mr. Polar Bear. London's other famous bear. This feature first appeared November 20. Okay, so it first appeared November 2024. So we're gonna bring it back in time with all these attacks and stuff. Yeah, of course. Paddington gets most of the limelight. The world's second most famous bear was also a Londoner. London has a bear population of 0, and so has been for 40 years. Our last ursine resident vacated in 1985. Interesting. 1985. When London Zoo shut down its bear enclosure, this brought to an end a long and grisly history. From the medieval polar bear at the Tower of London to bear baiting in Southwark to the astonishing, appalling 1909 spectacle of 70 polar bears on stage at the Hippodrome, I think we can all agree that these magnificent creatures have no place in the modern city. Okay. Oh, sorry. The second bear was Winnie the Pooh. There you go. There you know. Golden Retriever proudly showing off his teddy bear. Lots of teddy bears this time around. And OpenAI restores GPT access for teddy bear that recommended pills and knives. We got an evil teddy bear. An AI evil teddy bear. The red eyes of doom. Okay. In response to researchers at a safety group finding that the toy maker's AI-powered teddy bear Kuma gave dangerous responses for children. OpenAI said in mid-November it has suspended Polo Toys access to its large language models. The teddy bear was running the ChatGPT maker's older ChatGPT 4.0 as its default option when it gave some of its most egregious replies, which included in-depth explanations of sexual fetishes. Okay, is there anything else interesting in this? No, just a pervy bear. Pervy teddy bear, that is. All right, that covers our honorable bear mentions. Another attack in Japan. Man attacked by a bear outside public toilet in busy Japanese city. Man was attacked by a bear while using a public toilet in Japan on Friday, making the latest incident in a wave of bear encounters in densely populated areas. There was something else in this. Now you get your 1.4 meter long bear, which 14 is the same as 41, so you got your 41. Now we get some solutions being taken off here. Bear insurance takes off in Japan amid surge in deadly attacks. Hardly a day goes by in Japan without news of another bear attack, but a problem that's worrying local residents, tourists, and farmers, and hampering leisure-related businesses is presenting an opportunity for insurers. Tokyo Marine and Nikaido Fire Insurance announced Friday it will offer an insurance product that compensates businesses that suffer a bear intrusion. The policy applies to hotel and leisure facility operators and can cover lost profits and the cost of bolstering safety measures. Japan is seeing a record number of deaths from bear attacks, with 13 people killed since April. Last month, a man was found dead after apparently being attacked by a bear while cleaning an outdoor hot spring bath in Iwate Prefecture, according to the Shani newspaper. Drones solution. This one gets interesting. Bears attacks have been on the rise in Japan this year. 13 people, blah, blah, blah. 200 people injured since April. In its quest to keep the public safe, the northern prefecture of Akita is turning its technologies like drones to help it monitor bears and broadcast safety alerts. To tackle the bear problem, a 3-day trial demonstration exploring the ways drones could be used was carried out in October. It was headed by Yoshikawa Fumitaka, the head of an organization that dispatches drones and drone operators during disasters. He called upon Masudo Ko, a traditional Japanese hunter, to lend his expertise. An audio warning system. The first experiment was to see whether a drone could be used to warn people about nearby bears. The audio warning, drone training in progress, was played from the device's speaker and could be heard within a 200-meter radius. Playing the audio warning while approaching a bear had an unexpected effect. The animals ran away to a mountain after noticing the voice. Masudo says finding bears and driving them away are important, but if bears run away in an unexpected direction, we will be in trouble. The problem is whether we can control bears' movements by drones. Monitoring bears. The team conducted another test to see whether drones are capable of spotting bears at night. A number of encounters between bears and humans occur in the period between dusk and dawn when it's dark out. Infrared sensors were used in a bid to detect the animal's presence. The team could see their shape clearly in rice paddies and mountainous area. And it then used the spotlight to attempt to control the bear's movement, but the animals did not seem bothered by the light. The results may have been a bit disappointing, but the team is determined to push ahead. It hopes to start using the devices by the end of next fiscal year. Bear bells and manual doors. Shawaja Marina is a reporter of the NHK Nikita Bureau who covered the drone project. While modern technology might offer new solutions to resolving the issue of rising bear attacks, she notes that more and more people in Akita Prefecture are donning bear bells when they go out. They are designed to warn a bear of your presence so you do not startle it. I always have one attached on my bag when I go out, she explains. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty annoying, just jingling all the time. This comes after several bear attacks took place near residential areas. In one instance, a man was attacked by a bear outside his house and he headed out for a walk. And in another, a man was mauled in a field near his home. As videos circulate online of bears entering buildings by walking through automatic doors, many places in the prefecture have temporarily switched them to manual operation to prevent it. Staying home. Despite these measures, people are spending more time inside as a precaution. According to the cell phone data, foot traffic in the central park of Akita City has fallen by, 17% in October compared to last year. It is back to the kind of levels seen during the coronavirus pandemic. Yes, stay inside. Don't go outside, people. There's bears. Japan enlists drones and ex-soldiers to battle surge in bear attacks. Japan plans to muster former soldiers and retired police officers to hunt down bears, following a record number of human deaths this year as the country's falling human population and climate change embolden the Earth-sign population. Japan's cabinet office on Friday approved an emergency action plan to tackle a surge in bear attacks, which have claimed 13 lives and sparked alarm as the animals extend deeper into urban areas. We will strategically do what it takes to ensure safety and security of the public and combat damage by bears, said Minoru Kahara, the chief cabinet secretary. Plans include using advanced technology such as drones to track, right? And capture errant bears. The creation of buffer zones between forests and urban areas, and a new generation of government hunters. Now that's a very creepy term, government hunters, to increase exterminations. So imagine a future where urban areas have huge buffer zones between forests and the urban areas, and there are drones flying around daily to track movement in said areas, and government hunters are out about to make sure the humans stay within the urban area because it's not safe to go in the forest, right? Oh my. According to rough estimates cited in domestic media, Japan is home to about 12,000 brown bears, all of them in northern Hokkaido prefecture, and 44,000 black bears, with the latter thought to have tripled in number over the past 12 years. The problem stems in part from Japan's demographic decline. According to experts, As the shrinking human population, particularly in rural areas and villages, have left more farmland fallow and led to forest expansion, drawing bears into closer contact with human settlements. Here in the West, in the UK too, we're seeing more and more farmland being shut down and left to fallow. So you can see the future problems coming out of that problem reaction solution there. Last week's discovery of the body of Kayo Goto, a 79-year-old woman who appeared to have been attacked by a bear after going to the mountains in Akita Prefecture to pick mushrooms, further fueled public concern. Surging reports of bear sightings and rising casualties have hit tourism, disrupted transport, and prompted widespread cancellations of school trips, outdoor festivals, and sports events. Japan Post warned mail collection and delivery could be suddenly suspended in the event of a bear sighting. Our citizens are forced to live in constant fear every day and are even nervous to open their front doors for fear of a sudden appearance by a bear. Akita Governor Kenta Suzuki said ahead of the government's latest announcement. This should not be happening in modern Japanese society. The changing behavior of bears has been attributed to numerous factors, including climate change, which experts say has affected the availability of the nuts and fruits the animals need to prepare for hibernation, forcing them to roam more widely in search of food. Koji Yamazaki, a professor of Tokyo University of Agriculture, who has studied the changing patterns of risk-taking by bears, has also pointed to the thinning of Japan's rural human population and the falling acreage of cultivated farmland. The government's plan includes fast-tracking the formation of new bear hunting squads comprised of retired police and self-defense force veterans who have already received firearms training. Private gun ownership is exceptionally low in Japan, and the national roster of licensed hunters has halved to 21,000 from 52,000 in 1975. The legal change in September authorized police to use rifles in urban areas if a bear is on the loose. Insurance companies, Tokyo Marine has also rolled out policies covering property damage caused by stray bullets fired during bear calling operations. Wonderful. The government also noted the importance of managing public perception of the crisis, warning that excessive complaints by the public could stifle the government's calling efforts. Viral videos of bears straying into urban areas, including university campuses, supermarket, an airport, and a bank, have continued to broaden fears. A poll conducted by the state broadcaster NHK last week found 71%, 17 backwards, of respondents thought government efforts to prevent bear-related injuries should be strengthened further, while 19% said the response was adequate. Other measures announced on Friday include building electric fences to protect residential areas and farms. Yutaka Sakai, managing director of the Japan Spa Association, said fences could ruin the atmosphere of scenic spots, but preserving human life was more important. Still, he was skeptical about the effectiveness of such measures. Once bears are no longer afraid of humans, I think they will invade anywhere, said Sakai. The only way to deal with this is to put effort into extermination. Well, there you have it. Hundreds of property owners requested bear-resistant carts, City of Kamloops says. So here we're back in Canada. After a significant ordering delay, the City of Kamloops says that more than 500 bear-resistant carts have been rolled out to residents since the containers were made available this past summer. In a presentation Thursday to the City Council Committee, Daniel Sparks, City of Kamloops Environmental Services Supervisor, said the special carts, which have reinforced lids and carabiner locks, arrived in July, about a year after Council approved the purchase. Okay, so we got through all that pretty fast. Now, with all this crazy bear stuff going on, I found something really interesting. What is Jeffrey Epstein's nickname? Bear. And you know what's all in the news right now at the same time as the bear tax and the bear market and yada, yada, yada? The Epstein Files. And Jeffrey Epstein's nickname is Bear. Also Puggy. And he has a strong connection to Bear Stearns. Jeffrey Epstein's Wall Street start at Bear Stearns gave him trading experience, high-level contacts, and access to complex financial products that helped him launch a private money management business. His later wealth appears to have depended far more on a small number of billionaire clients, especially Leslie Wexner, and offshore tax structures than a conventional trading career. Reporting and investigative documents say Bear Stearns both employed Epstein and later had business links to entities he chaired, but many details of how fees, transfers, and offshore vehicles produced Epstein's fortune remain opaque in the public record. That's pretty wild stuff, if you ask me. With the three connections here. Epstein Files. The Bear nickname resurfaces as hidden predation is exposed justice hunting predators. Bitcoin bear market collapse of speculative excess, echoing the bear's destructive force. Bear attacks in Japan, literal bear breaching urban boundaries, symbolizing nature's revenge against human imbalance. So pattern synthesis across all three domains: predation, Epstein, collapse, Bitcoin, intrusion, Japan's bear attacks. Bear motif signals reckoning, forces breaking through when systems fail, justice, finance, ecology. You might remember this famous victim of Jeffrey Epstein. And it was Virginia, don't ask me to pronounce this, giraffe, Garofree. So when she met Epstein, she met him in 2000. She was closely associated with Epstein and Maxwell and traveling with them and such. September of 2002, at the age of 19, she flew to Thailand, attended the International Training Massage School. So in 2002, she was 19. So in 2000, when she met Epstein, that would make her, you guessed it, 17 years old. And she died at the age of 41. 17 and 41. And that's what I'm telling you. Those things are very connected. Those two numbers specifically are connected. I have a video I recorded that I never actually released. And I'm going to show you I'm going to edit it down. And I'll show you the connections between 17 and 41 this year specifically. Has been incredible when it comes to those things. You won't... It's crazy. It's like on a personal level too, because I've been with my wife as a couple for 17 years and I am 41. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I digress here. So I've seen this claim that from 1993 to 1995, Epstein had visited the White House at least 17 times. Now, it doesn't matter what the exact number it is. It's the point that that number is thrown out there, 17. But anyways, back to here. So I was trying to see if there was any connection with the number 41 in Epstein, and I couldn't find anything. So, but other than his victim, the supposed victim, Virginia. Symbolism of the 17 number, common in conspiracy symbolic frameworks. 17 shows up in a few major symbolic contexts. 17 is a signal number in online conspiracy culture. In modern internet mythology, 17 is strongly associated with certain anonymous or pseudonymous drops, messages, or symbolic links or hints. People who believe in coordinated elites often treat 17 as a marker that elites use to signal affiliation or involvement. Because of this, anytime a figure like Epstein has the number 17 attached to them, some read it symbolically, not literally. 17 as transition or threshold, Numerology 17 is considered a number of secrets coming to light, rebirth, or of hidden influence. It often associated with shadow power, hidden elites, behind the scenes influence, which is why it sticks to someone like Epstein. 17 as prime chaos. 17 is a prime number, and primes, it's in general, get used symbolically because they can't be divided. They represent purity or irreducibility. What? Irreducibility? I don't think I've ever said that word in my life before. Some groups use prime numbers as identifiers or codes, and 17 is one of the simplest memorable primes. So even if the actual log is accurate, the symbolic number 17 works perfectly in media narratives when they are trying to suggest hidden influence, deep connection, coded reference, or deliberate signal. If 17 is symbolic, what would 41 represent? Let's explore 41 in some symbolic language. First, mathematically, 41 is also a prime number. That also makes it interesting in symbolic circles. 14 has the hidden prime. 41 is, I said 14. 41 is often treated as a deep prime because it rests between 37 and 43, both culturally charged numbers. Primes over 40 sometimes get used to represent cycles or periods of influence. 41 in politics. This is interesting. U.S. President George W.H. Bush is commonly referred to as Bush 41. Some narratives tie old guard intelligence networks, global finance, and foreign policy leads to 41. Because Epstein had connections to the geopolitics, intelligence, finance worlds, people sometimes use 41 symbolically to imply old guard power structures, intelligence community roots, legacy networks. 41 is a cycle completion plus rebirth. In numerology, 4 equals structure, system, institution. 1 equals singular power, individual will. 4 plus 1 equals 5 is change, disruption, collapse. So 41 can mean a system leading inevitably to disruption. That's exactly what's happening. We're heading for it. 1984 was 41 years ago. Okay, I know the book wasn't written in 1984, but the book is called 1984. It's been 41 years. Okay, I'm born in 1984, 41 years. I've been married 17 years. Well, not married 17 years. Was with my wife for 17 years. If you're thinking symbolically, this is interesting. 17 and 41 are both prime numbers. Both appear in esoteric numerology connected to signals or cycles. Together, they form a pattern. 1741, a jump from early stage signaling to entrenched structural influence. People who track symbolic numbers would treat them as a part of a narrative of increasing influence or coded messaging. Yes, I see the patterns. Okay? Not just in numbers, I just see what else is going on, and they fit together. Pretty wild stuff, and I just thought the whole, I saw the word dominion a lot, or dominant. Dominion or dominant, it was kind of popping up, and it just kind of fits with the whole thing that's been going on with the bear, transformation, all that stuff. Sovereignty. We've been having a lot of issues with sovereignty in Canada with the whole UNDRIP, who has dominion over the land, land title disputes in BC, and it's going to spread across. We already had title claims in, I believe, Manitoba and stuff like that, and New Brunswick, and it'll just keep going and going like we said it would. So anyways, with that, all that said, I think that should cover it for bear stuff. I mean, if more crazy bear things pop up, then I'll do a part 3. But I think this about covers it. But yeah, pretty wild with the Epstein stuff too included. That's another thing in the news cycle, and it's got bear connections to it, so it's just wild. I thank you all for your time and attention as always. This is Anonymous reporting from the Bear New World. Catch you next time.
Are you talking to me? No way, Paul!